Tonight on the program, Srettha Thavisin is out. So what's next and what does it mean for the Thai economy? Then we have an exclusive interview with Malaysia's trade minister. And take a look at the life of a young skateboarder who took a shot at the Paris Olympics. Sawadika, I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin is out after the Constitutional Court found him guilty of ethical misconduct over his appointment of Paetongtarn as a minister. The whole drama began in April this year during a cabinet reshuffle when Srettha appointed a lawyer close to the Shinawatra family, Paetongtarn, as the minister of the Prime Minister's office. However, Paetongtarn was jailed for 6 months on contempt of court charges in 2008, and this raised eyebrows as to whether he is really eligible to become a minister. And this prompted a group of senators to file a petition to impeach the Prime Minister, stating that he had breached ethical standards by appointing him, who is not even qualified to be a minister. Ultimately, the Constitutional Court decided to remove Srettha as the Prime Minister. This means that the entire cabinet is also removed from the office. This came as a huge surprise to many people because at first, Srettha expressed confidence that he would be spared the axe.
ผมเสียใจตรงที่ว่าผมจะถูกออกไปว่าเป็นนายกที่ไม่มีจริยธรรมซึ่งผมก็ยืนยันนะครับในตัวตนของผมคิดว่าผมไม่ใช่บุคคลอย่างนั้นนะครับแต่ก็อย่างที่บอกครับก็ต้องท่านตัดสินมาแล้วเป็นตุลาการที่มีความรู้มีความสามารถท่านตัดสินมาผมก็น้อมรับครับ
Now that Srettha is gone, people may wonder what will happen to the policies initiated by his government, especially the flagship digital wallet scheme, which was launched recently. The outgoing leader admits, though, that there might be changes under a new prime minister.
ว่านโยบายของรัฐบาลนี้ที่มีการประกาศออกไปแล้วเนี่ยผู้ที่มาสืบทอดตรงนี้จะทำต่อหรือเปล่าผมเรียกตรงผมตอบไม่ได้นะครับผมไม่ทราบใครจะเป็นนายกรัฐมนตรีจะเป็นพรรคร่วมหรือพรรคเพื่อไทยถ้าเกิดเปลี่ยนผู้นำแล้วเนี่ยเขาก็มีสิทธิ์ในการที่จะเปลี่ยนแปลงนโยบายได้ตามที่เห็นสมควร
And the new Prime Minister of Thailand succeeding Srettha is no other than the Pheu Thai Party leader Paetongtarn Shinawatra. So why she has been chosen as the country's new leader?
ฉันขอบพระคุณนะคะกรรมการบริหารพรรคเพื่อไทยสมาชิกพรรคเพื่อไทยที่ได้เสนอชื่อของดิฉันนะคะให้มาเป็นตำแหน่งนายกรัฐมนตรีนะคะแล้วก็แน่นอนค่ะต้องกราบขอบพระคุณพรรคร่วมทุกท่านด้วยนะคะสำหรับการสนับสนุนนี้ค่ะแน่นอนค่ะว่าดิฉันก็จะทำทุกอย่างให้เต็มความสามารถนะคะรอเวลากันนิดนึง
This was Paetongtarn Shinawatra's statement on Thursday evening after she was chosen as the only prime ministerial candidate by the Pheu Thai-led coalition.
I'm so excited to be here today.
This came after Thailand had witnessed two major political upheavals, the dissolution of the main opposition Move For Party and Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin being removed from office earlier this week. Paetongtarn won a comfortable majority in the vote in parliament this morning, with 319 MPs voting in favor, 145 MPs voting against, and 27 MPs abstaining. This makes her the second Thai female prime minister, the third from the Shinawatra family to lead the country, and the youngest prime minister in Thai history. The youngest daughter of convicted and paroled former leader and billionaire Thaksin Shinawatra, Paetongtarn was officially named the head of Pheu Thai family in March 2022. A year later, she was named as one of the party's prime ministerial candidates in the general elections. Paetongtarn was later promoted to leader of the party in October, a move which came as no surprise.
เราเป็นพรรคการเมืองที่ประสบความสำเร็จมากที่สุดและเราก็ยังเป็นพรรคการเมืองที่ถูกกระทำมากที่สุดในประวัติศาสตร์การเมืองไทยเช่นกันดิฉันนะคะเติบโตมาอยู่ในแวดวงของการเมืองได้สังเกตได้ใกล้ชิดทำให้ดิฉันได้เรียนรู้อะไรมากมายค่ะต้องขอบพระคุณท่านดร.ทักษิณชินวัตรคุณพ่อ ที่ทำให้ดิฉันได้เห็นถึงความตั้งใจเห็นถึงอุดมการณ์ของท่านและทำให้ดิฉันได้เรียนรู้ได้ใกล้ชิดและที่สำคัญได้เป็นแรงบันดาลใจที่สำคัญของดิฉันในการดำรงชีวิตค่ะ
Her rise to the helm of the party was already being seen as preparation for her to become the next prime minister. It was also seen as a move to emphasize the Shinawatra family's strong influence over Thai politics. During the Srettha administration, Paetongtarn was also appointed deputy chair of 2 national committees on soft power strategy and public health system development. Despite her family's strong background in politics and her experience in the business world, many critics see her as lacking political experience. Paetongtarn has been the subject of ridicule on social media, with video clips and memes criticizing her for being ignorant on important issues and for all the campaign promises she made but which have yet to be fulfilled. She even came under fire earlier this year for her criticism of the Bank of Thailand when the government and the central bank were tussling over the country's interest rates.
กฎหมายพยายามจะให้ธนาคารแห่งประเทศไทยเป็นอิสระจากรัฐบาลค่ะซึ่งเรื่องนี้จะเป็นปัญหาแล้วก็เป็นอุปสรรคสำคัญมากๆในการแก้ไขปัญหาทางด้านเศรษฐกิจค่ะ
Regardless, leaders of the Thai-led coalition seemed confident in Paetongtarn in becoming the next prime minister. The question now is what the future holds for the country under Paetongtarn's premiership in light of the current political struggles. With changes in the Thai government, so what's next for the Thai economy? What about the economic policies that were laid out during the Srettha administration? And most importantly, how will foreign investors perceive the Thai economy when there's a lack of political stability? Dr. Girida Paupijit of the TDRI gives us a better perspective on this issue. So, Dr. Girida, did the court ruling on Srettha surprise you at all?
Actually, it did. I didn't expect him to go, but I respect the court ruling. So this is where we stand right now.
Right, and how will this affect the overall Thai economy, especially when it comes to foreign direct investment?
Yes, I think the impact on the Thai economy will come mainly through 3 different channels. Well, one, we have discussed the digital wallet, which will be delayed. So, the impact on the economy will, of course, also be delayed. Secondly, as you mentioned, the investors' confidence, in investing in Thailand might be, a little bit in question because Srettha was actually, the salesman of Thailand.
Yep.
Who went and negotiated in the sense that he gave information and asked these foreign investors to come to Thailand. And now that he's gone, they might be wondering whether the policies that he had discussed with them will still be around. So I think it will have an impact, but it also depends on how soon the new government, the new cabinet can be formed so that investors, will be a bit rest assured that the policies will continue. So I think it will affect. And the third channel is, of course, the fact that the budget will be also delayed because the budget will need the new cabinet to also, work on it with the parliament. So again, these are the 3 things I think that will affect the Thai economy: the digital wallet, investors' confidence, and the delayed budget.
And out of all the 3 issues that you raised right now, which one do you think is most concerning at the moment?
Well, it depends on who we ask. From my point of view, I think the most concerning is the fact that the investors' confidence, might be lower than is, because we actually need, a lot of investments in Thailand in order to sustain growth and development going forward. So I think that's something that the government will really need to urgently assure foreign investors that the policies in Thailand will not change drastically, even if a new prime minister comes about. But of course, if you ask the layman who are waiting for the 10,000 baht digital wallet, I think that might be the most concerning to them. And of course, for those entrepreneurs who are waiting for government investment projects, especially in the provinces, they would probably be waiting for the budget to be dispersed. And this is the fiscal year 2025 budget that I mentioned that might be delayed.
And how do you foresee the challenges ahead of the new government, especially when it comes to addressing the economic challenges in Thailand?
Well, I think the economic challenges in Thailand hasn't gone away with the outgoing prime minister. One of the biggest challenges here now is the economic challenge, especially by those who are of the lower income segment. So that's something that is a challenge for the new government, to see how you can raise their incomes, to help resolve their debt issues, and help them, sustain their incomes in the future as well. So I think that is still a big, agenda for any government that will come here in Thailand. And of course, there is also the, the issue of, the budget disbursement, the use of the government's own resources. I think that's something that the new government would also have to manage very carefully, going forward as well. And lastly, I think it's an issue that, everybody's talking about is Thailand's competitiveness, especially vis-a-vis Chinese companies or foreign companies that are coming here into Thailand. So I think these are the issues that the Thai government or the new cabinet will all need to urgently address, for Thailand's sustainable development going forward.
And now let's have a look at the other stories in our weekly roundup. Caretaker Deputy Finance Minister Julaphan Amornviwatt attempted to ease public concern that the digital wallet scheme may be scrapped following the ousting of Prime Minister Srettha and his entire cabinet. He said that the scheme will remain unchanged as the Pheu Thai party remains the core party of the new administration. People's Party leader Nathapong Rungpanyawut called on both the government and opposition MPs to change the political future of Thailand by writing a new constitution and other laws to restrict the extensive powers of the Constitutional Court. This came after the court ordered the dissolution of the Move Forward Party last week and the removal of Srettha from office on Wednesday. The cabinet has designated September 15th for the by-election in Constituency 1 of Phitsanulok Province to fill a House seat left vacant by Patipat Santipada, a former MP of the Move Forward Party. Patipat, who was the first Deputy House Speaker, was stripped of his parliamentary status along with 10 other party executives by the Constitutional Court after the party was found guilty of attempting to overthrow the constitutional monarchy. The Thai Industrial Standards Institute has been ordered by the Ministry of Industry to increase checks on the quality of more than 1,000 Chinese-made products being sold online in Thailand, as cheap and substandard products from China are affecting local products. The ministry is also considering imposing taxes on e-commerce in Chinese-made products to ensure fairness to local producers who have to pay taxes to the state. As Srettha was ousted this week, the political instability could have negative effects on Thailand's trade and economy. The Trade Minister of Malaysia visited Thailand as Srettha was being removed from office. Despite the uncertainties in Parliament, the minister expects more collaboration with the Thai government. In an exclusive interview, Frank Han-Chi also asked the minister about Malaysia's vision for its chairmanship of ASEAN next year.
Instability is what investors do not want to see all the time when they invest in a country. So just want to understand, of course, right now, Thailand's politics is a little bit destabilizing at this point. So how would you think about the political landscape change in Thailand will affect the trade between Malaysia and Thailand?
I did arrive at a very impeccable timing in terms of what's happening politically in Thailand, and I'm here together with my team as part of our trade and investment mission and as a follow-up from our joint trade committee meeting with my counterpart, who's now the acting Prime Minister. So what has happened, I think when we met up many companies from Thailand, I think at least 16 companies from Thailand who have interests in investments and trade with Malaysia. The companies and Malaysian investors and Malaysian companies are also watching what's happening politically here in Thailand very closely. But from what our understanding from the public information that we get from the public domain, we are watching closely, but at the same time, it is still the same government, right? We have been very close with Thailand, with this government.
We are in an era of friendshore and move all the global supply chain to the alliances too. And part of the foreign direct investment might choose ASEAN, but no matter which country they would choose, the preferable country to put their new investment in. Of course, you talk about ASEAN chairmanship. Next year is Malaysia's turn. So just want to understand how to drive Southeast Asia and ASEAN's economy in a way that Malaysia will be the lead next year. You talk about 3 mega trends, so I will let you talk about it.
Well, if you look at ASEAN today, our GDP is close to $3.8 trillion US. That makes us the 5th largest economic bloc. But we're growing, and we're growing at a rate of 4 to 5% in terms of GDP growth. And you're right just now in your statement that we are seeing friendshoring, reshoring, and onshoring as companies then look at what are the de-risking views of globally. Right? So they will choose. ASEAN has been a net beneficiary of that inflows. Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, all will need to use this window and we work together. I don't believe it's a zero-sum game. So everyone can work together and make ASEAN as an attractive bloc. So those 3 mega trends I mentioned just now, one is the geopolitics, so what's happening. One cannot deny the fact that US and China are major economies in the world. I mean, between the two of them, the combination of both GDP is close to 45% of the total world GDP today, right? And then the second trend that I think we need to be very careful is on the, what do you call it, environment. We're talking about climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah. A lot of concerns. Net zero target. Everybody's having net zero target. As companies prepared for it, right? Even access to markets going forward, especially in the Western market, the EU, they all are imposing standards that is required by companies to access their market. And finally, I think the one that you mentioned about digital, I think that's important.
Malaysia is not the only one aiming to become the hub in ASEAN. So just want to understand, of course, I have to mention Vietnam, our neighboring country here in ASEAN. So just want to understand how to, of course, what's your strategy? Of course, you want to become the hub, the main hub. Vietnam is here, it's approaching, it's catching up to all the local talented development you mentioned about is that the Malaysian government should focus on at this point, because Vietnam, they have the same policy too. How would you see the power game here?
Yeah, I think, well, one must also admit that healthy competition is also good for the industries and for markets and at the end of the day for consumers, for the people. So for Malaysia, we recently launched the National Semiconductor Strategy. It's a plan, it's a 25 billion ringgit plan to operationalize our strategy to improve where we are in terms of our economic complexity when it comes to semiconductor. We're doing a lot of back end now, especially ousted, assembly and testing. We're moving more towards IC design and also advanced packaging. We've been in this industry for more than 50 years, in the 1970s. And Vietnam is also there, you're right, growing as well. And Singapore, don't forget, also quite advanced in semiconductor. And what we see is that, when there are investment flows that go to Vietnam in certain sectors, we also do get to see some of that, right? Because the whole you mentioned about supply chain. So that supply chain sometimes, because they need something from Malaysia, they open in Vietnam. And sometimes they need something from...
Now let's go to Finland. While Finland has been crowned the happiest country in the world for 7 years, its proximity to Russia raises security concerns after joining NATO last year. The ambassador of Finland told Thai PBS World that their neighboring country is of significant concern, but the government has maintained happiness in society regardless of security issues.
While Finland has retained its position as the happiest country in the world for 7 years, security concerns have heightened since it joined NATO in 2023. Russia's attack on Ukraine has increased tensions at Finland's border with its massive neighbor. The former ambassador of Finland to Thailand told me before his departure that Finns are confident in the government's ability to function well, but they still have significant concerns over potential conflict with Russia.
I've been wondering the same thing since the 22 when Russia attacked Ukraine, that should this affect our happiness directly, but for some reason it hasn't yet affected it. Seems like Finnish people are still happy because our domestic system works and everything in Finland seems to be working fine. So at the moment it's not affecting the happiness as such, but obviously it's a big concern for all of us, not only in Finland but the whole Europe. So the security situation in Europe has dramatically changed. Probably for some time. So we have a security concern there.
Ambassador Hiri stated that the rapid development of wind energy and hydroelectric plants in Finland is gradually shifting energy sources to domestic production, adding that 92% of Finnish electricity is produced from low-carbon or completely carbon-free and sustainable sources. Cooperation between Thailand and Finland has strengthened since the pandemic. In addition to the rise in the number of tourists, Finnish schools will establish branches in Phuket and Khon Kaen.
During my time, we signed 2 new MOU agreements. One on the education cooperation between the countries, and the other one on the circular economy cooperation. Those new agreements have been helpful in a way that we have been able to build connections with the Thai authorities, and then around that with the Thai companies and Thai institutions, for example, schools and universities. So they have been extremely useful. And I think probably the most productive of our agreements has been the circular economy one. We have had excellent cooperation with the Royal Thai Ministry of Industry with that. We've organized several different kinds of seminars and webinars and visits both ways. So I think circular economy is something where Thailand and Finland can find a common space and a lot of cooperation possibilities. We've done issues like sustainable textile industries, or how to organize EV, electronic vehicle battery recycling, for example, or how to monitor industrial emissions.
Feng Kanshi reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now let's move on to lighter matters. Meet Wariraya Sukasem, a Thai skateboarder who's only 12 years old and was the youngest athlete at the Paris Olympic Games. Despite not reaching the final round, her journey as a Thai Olympic skateboarder has already become a source of inspiration for the Thai youth.
Today on Thai PBS World, we're so excited to meet Thailand's youngest Olympic skateboarder, Wariraya Sukasem, also known as ST. Let's find out more on her inspiring journey and what it takes to make it to the Olympic stage at such a young age.
She was ranked 12th with a score of 206.39 in Budapest Games, meaning she was the first athlete in Thai history to qualify to take part in women's street skateboarding at the Olympics. She didn't win a medal this time, and she's now back in Thailand. Her journey did not begin with skateboarding though.
จริงๆแล้วเราเริ่มให้น้องSTเริ่มเล่นกีฬาแรกเลยคือไอซ์สเก็ตก่อนไอซ์สเก็ตนั้นตอนน้องประมาณ5 ขวบเองค่ะ5-6 ขวบแล้วไอซ์สเก็ตเนี่ยเป็นกีฬาที่คุณแม่ก็ชอบแล้วลูกก็ชอบอะไรที่แบบอยู่ที่เย็นๆเขาไม่ชอบอะไรร้อนๆ
She started skateboarding at the age of 7, since she thought that ice skating and roller skating were not challenging enough. Within a year, she started to take skateboarding seriously, which led her to compete in her first national event, in which she was placed 5th.
หนูแบบไม่ได้ขึ้นโพเดียมไม่ได้รับรางวัลอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะหนูเสียใจนะตอนนั้นเสียใจมากแล้วตอนนั้นหนูก็เลยแบบซ้อมหนักขึ้นแบบเริ่มจริงจังกับเส้นทางนี้มากขึ้นอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะจนมีคัดเลือกทีมชาติแล้วหนูก็มาแข่งอีกรอบนึงหนูก็ได้ที่ 1มาค่ะ
The road to the Olympic Games was not easy for her, especially when she fell in an accident and was almost unable to skate again.
วันนั้นคือวันเปิดซ้อมทีมชาติวันแรกเลยแล้วพอเปิดทีมชาติเปิดซ้อมวันแรกหนูก็เจ็บเลยเอ็นไขว้หลังหนูขาดเลยเพราะหนูอาจจะแบบไม่ได้ยืดอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะตอนนั้นมันมีแข่งที่หัวหินนะคะแล้วตอนนั้นหนูยังไม่รู้เรื่องอะไรเลยเหมือนแบบไปแข่งทันที่เจ็บอยู่ค่ะตอนนั้นเข่าหนูบวมมากๆเลยแบบคือมันมีน้ำอยู่ข้างในเข่าค่ะแล้วแบบมันอยู่ในช่วงที่หนูแบบไม่ไหวแล้วก็หนูก็ได้รู้ว่าเอ็นไขว้หลังหนูขาดตอนนั้นหนูแบบรู้สึกเสียใจมากเลยตอนนั้นหนูพักอยู่ประมาณ 4-5 เดือนนะคะรวมรักษาด้วยประมาณ6 เดือนตอนนั้นไม่ได้เล่นนานมาก
She only had her parents as her coach since she started, ST said. Her parents told Thai PBS World that there were also several obstacles on the Olympic journey, including a lot of expenses and lack of experience. And she did not get to compete in the first stage.
เราไม่มีโอกาสได้ไปเพราะว่าด้วยค่าใช้จ่ายกับเรื่องไม่มีงบพัฒนานักกีฬาใหม่ซึ่งแน่นอนเราก็พยายามหาทางทุกวิถีทางเพื่อจะให้ลูกเนี่ยเข้าไปเล่นในสนามคัดเลือกนี้ให้ได้
Her first step towards Olympics 2024 was the world's class skateboard competition in Tokyo 2023, for which none of the expenses were covered by sponsors, her dad said. Even though the Thailand Extreme Sports Association supported the expenses for ST after she was eligible in the Olympic Games, the lack of Olympic experience was the biggest challenge for them, he said.
มันแน่นอนครับเพราะว่าเรื่องการเข้าโอลิมปิกบอกเลยว่าเราไม่สามารถถามใครได้ในประเทศนี้เราต้องทำงานกันแบบว่าเหมือนปิดตาทำเพราะว่าข้อมูลต่างๆเรารู้น้อยมาก
It was ST's first time at the Olympics. She failed to win a medal, but she learned a lot and she counted this time as valuable experience.
ต้องจัดการอารมณ์ตัวเองยังไงค่ะแล้วก็แบบต้องเพิ่มความมั่นใจตัวเองถึงขนาดไหนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแล้วก็อย่างแรกเลยที่หนูต้องทำก็คือต้องมาเพิ่มท่าไปค่ะเพราะว่าท่าที่หนูแข่งในโอลิมปิกครั้งนี้มันอาจจะยังน้อยไปค่ะยังสู้คนต่างชาติไม่ไหวอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ
เราบอกเขาตลอดว่าSTทำได้นะมันอยู่ในตัวหนูอยู่แล้วเพราะท่าสุดท้ายที่เขาทำในนั้นที่ได้เข้าโอลิมปิกเนี่ยก็เป็นท่าที่เขาไม่ได้ตั้งใจจะเล่นอยู่แล้วแต่ท่านี้มันอยู่ในหัวเขาแล้วว่านี่แหละถึงเวลาที่เขาจะต้องเล่นแล้วใช่แล้วประสบการณ์นี้จะเป็นตัวบอกเขาเองว่าเขาจะต้องทำยังไงต่อไป
This valuable experience is also inspiring to other Thais, especially girls and women.
อยากจะเป็นเหมือนเขาว่าด้วยค่ะแล้วก็พยายามฝึกฝนตัวเองให้มากขึ้นเพื่อไปถึงจุดหนูในอีก4 ปีข้างหน้าค่ะก็แบบเป็นเพื่อนกันอะไรอย่างนี้แบบก็เห็นเขาเป็นตัวอย่างในการเล่นท่าที่แบบหนูยังเล่นไม่ได้ด้วยอะไรอย่างนี้ใช่
ST sees that her story of being the youngest Olympic skateboarder proves that Thai youth, especially young women, can be more open to skateboarding and give it a try.
กีฬาสเก็ตบอร์ดเนี่ยอาจจะเป็นกีฬาที่ผู้ชายเล่นได้เท่านั้นอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่หนูก็อยากทำให้เห็นว่าผู้หญิงก็เล่นได้เหมือนกันแม้ว่าจะเป็นกีฬาที่แบบบาดเจ็บขนาดไหนท้าทายขนาดไหนอาจจะน่ากลัวไปบ้างอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่มันเป็นกีฬาที่สนุกนะหนูว่าก็แค่อยากทำให้แบบอยากให้มีผู้หญิงที่เข้ามาเล่นสเก็ตบอร์ดให้มากขึ้นอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ
Warisala Sehan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And her story was definitely inspiring. And that wraps up tonight's edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media, including our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ